It's time to take a look inside ECSU Mighty Vikings football. Welcome to Viking Coaches Show with Marcus Hilliard on WRVS 89.9.
Viking Coaches Show here on WRVS 89.9. Yours truly, Clay Mercer, here another week to talk ECSU Mighty Vikings football. And with me, as always, is the head coach of ECSU Vikings football, Marcus Hilliard. Coach Hilliard, thank you so much for making this show happen week in and week out. And I tell you what, homecoming was what it was all about last week. You had so many festivities throughout the entire homecoming week. How in the world did you keep your players from just indulging in every event that ECSU had leading into that game on Saturday?
Yeah, we talked about it, man. The team, they were focused. I just told them, homecoming is about the game. We have all those festivities and everything, but homecoming is about the game. Another thing we did, AD DeBose allowed us to go off campus on that Friday night, so we weren't even on campus.
Interesting.
Just to take the guys away from all the distractions. So I think that helped out a lot. But, we just preached about staying focused. That was the message from last week, staying focused. So.
Yeah, and the focus was there, no question about that, and you could see it in the first half. The homecoming atmosphere, Coach, was outstanding. We knew it was going to be electric, but to see that crowd, I mean, you look at Roebuck Stadium in the stands, good crowd in the stands, but there was so many people just walking around, and if all of them would have filled up the stands, probably standing room only at that point.
Yeah, at Elizabeth City, man, homecoming is always special. It's always a good time. It's always more people tailgating and going to the vendors and just meeting their friends rather than, kind of watching the game. You still get your fans watching the game, but homecoming is the time, man. Everybody's just enjoying themselves, and it was a good sight to see.
And as a coach, you can enjoy some of the good food. They had fish. They had all the good food. You missed out on that one.
Man, one of my coaches, his mom came, and she came early. She was like, man, wow, this is such an experience. She had never experienced homecoming, so she got there to experience the vendors and the food and just the atmosphere. So it was electric, man.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it, man. Speaking of the atmosphere, homecoming, you've been a coach, you've been a player, you felt homecoming both ways. The difference is in the experience, obviously. Just kind of speak on it a little bit from your perspective of what it's like as a coach and what it was like as a player.
As a player, man, I can remember my first year here and just didn't understand homecoming. And it was just like, that's when you could be on the yard, you can have your cars parked on the grass. Yes. So it was a different type of – I was like, what is going on here? What is this?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. And so that was pretty cool as a player. As a coach, it's just like you just want to win. You just want to get a win, man.
Yes.
You just focus on football. Just want you guys to come out and focus. That's the biggest thing as a coach is different, and you can enjoy the festivities after the game, but you just focused on winning as a coach.
Use that word focus, and we saw that from the Vikings, especially in that first half. Started off the game very well. Let's jump into a little bit of a recap of the homecoming contest as we welcome the Golden Bulls of Johnson C. Smith to Roebuck Stadium. At the time, 3-1 coming into that game. And on paper, Coach, this team had one of the best defenses in the conference. If you look at it, number one, first downs given up, and top 5 and third down defense. Obviously, we talk about code blue. It was going to be a defensive battle. In your practices and preparation throughout the week, were you prepared for a defensive matchup that was just going to be outstanding on the field?
Yeah, I think we took notice that they were ranked number 2, I guess, in the conference. And, our guys played like we felt like we were just as good as them, And we knew it was going to be a defensive battle. Something we did differently, I don't know if you probably – recognize we usually defer to the second half.
Yes, that's right.
But I just told them, look, let's get off to a faster start. I wanted to take the momentum in from Shaw that we had in that second half, and let's just see if we can roll with it. So we chose to receive.
Yeah.
And, and that just made a difference, just putting that confidence into the offense, like, look, let's get this party started early.
And sometimes those numbers can be a little gaudy because of the competition that they may have played. So that's why I said on paper, but we know what ECSU brings on the defensive side. And you talked about how important it is to get off to a fast start. So making that decision seemed to help out the Vikings, especially on the offensive side. As we talked about the week's preparation, when you looked at the offense, and I know you talked about it before, we want to light the scoreboard up as much as we can. Were there any adjustments that were made throughout the week leading into Saturday to kind of bolster the offense a little bit and give them some other options?
We had some tweaks to what we were trying to do. We, having Davenport in, some of the plays that he likes, we tried to cater to what he likes to throw and what he's comfortable with. So from that standpoint, yes. But overall, we're pretty much healthy. We finally had our offensive line, all 5 stars that played game 1. They were back for this game. So we felt good about it. But just trying to tailor the offenses to what Davenport could do.
Yeah, you can see the benefit on that front line. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. But speaking of defense, Code Blue, they stood strong in that first quarter, holding them scoreless in that first quarter, stepped up to the challenge. Just talk about them understanding homecoming and just having the energy to go out there and hold Johnson C. Smith scoreless.
Yeah, they give it up every day, man. They know that is what they do. Again, like I say, Coach Castillo does a great job with those guys, and you know, you could just feel the energy. I heard the crowd even say it. I heard the announcer even say Code Blue. So it's something that is becoming the identity for our defense, man. And those guys, they came to play Saturday.
Yeah. I love seeing that championship belt on the sideline. I was going to go down there and grab it myself. I just wanted to put it on my shoulder. I was feeling good. It was just a wonderful first quarter, especially. And again, in that first quarter, ECSU struck first. 39-yard field goal from Carson Hancock. We talked about some of the issues that we have seen on the special teams as far as kicking field goals previously, but to get that first score on that drive, to get 3 points, had to make everybody feel good on the sideline.
Yeah, it was good. And for Carson, it just gives him confidence. But, you know, we've had our field goal woes from last year, and just to see us be able to convert, man, it's pretty big, man. I'm just glad for him. You know, kickers, like I said, they're wired differently, but once they get that one, he was ready to go. He was locked in.
Yeah, and we talked about getting off to a fast start. That'll do it. Give us 3 points, whatever it takes. If we can finish the drive with some points, I'm all for it. And that was followed by the 37-yard touchdown run by quarterback Donovan Davenport to make the score 10-0 midway through the first. Go back to the decision to have Donovan start at QB again, but it definitely paid off early for the Vikings.
Yeah, he brings a dynamic, man, that we don't have or that we didn't have.
Sure.
And, you know, he's going to make some great decisions, man. And even on that touchdown run, man, just, you know, not seeing anybody open and, you know, just having the decision like, look, I'm gonna take it. I think it was 40-some yards.
Yeah, it was about 37, something like that, yeah.
And just him just making those right plays, man, we feel great about him.
When you see your quarterback take it, and say, I'm not going to pass, I'm going to run. How nervous do you get? Because the defense is like a missile. We're looking to put a hit on him once he comes out of that nice little spot that he's in.
You tense up, man, because, you know, it's like even later on in the game, I don't know, we'll talk about it, but he had came out. I know people were like, well, why did they put him in? Well, he had to come out because his helmet came off.
That's correct, yes.
And we called a timeout, but the referees said no, the timeout doesn't negate that. So,
interesting.
You know, so we had to put in the backup in for one play, but you get nervous.
Yeah.
You get nervous when it's like, you know, he took a couple hits on Saturday, and I was like, but he's a tough kid, man. He was able to bounce back, and you know, just really proud of the way he played.
Yeah, popped up, continued to play, and speaking of Hancock, he would be successful again on the 26-yard field goal to extend the lead 13-0. The importance of special teams, it can't be stressed enough, and obviously we had our issues later in the game, but finishing drives with some points, 3, 6, whatever it may be, all of it is positive.
Yeah. I always tell the coaches we have to win 2 of the 3 phases of the game, with special teams being definitely one of the phases you have to win. So it is uber important, as you can see, you know, in this game. It is very important. But it gives you confidence to know that we could come down, you know, and we could get points.
Yeah.
We're in the red zone. We're in plus territory. We're able to get points. So, you know, that's a positive that you could take away.
I think it's an element that we did not have last season, and obviously brought Hancock in for this reason, and he's doing the job for us. So, you know, congratulations for him for playing the way he did, especially in that first half. The Golden Bulls would block a Hancock field goal attempt later at around that 9-minute mark of the second quarter, and we know what happened next. They recovered, took it to the house. First score of the game for Johnson C. Smith. 13-7 is the score at this point. Talk about the issues that we had with the pressure that Johnson C. Smith was putting on those field goals, really kind of throughout the game, but as we said, we had a few other blocks coming up later in this one.
Yeah. I'm still seeing that block, man.
Yes.
You know, just a blown assignment. You know, stuff you go over every day. You go back and you watch the tape. Often it's not as bad as what you think, and it's not as good as what you think when you watch the film. But clearly, you know, and they did it, you know, got to tip your hat to John C. Smith. They did what they needed to do, especially on that block. I mean, they were down 13-0, and they needed a spark, and they got one. Mm-hmm. I think we were pretty much dominating the game up until that point.
No question.
Momentum. They kind of got the block, and they had gotten some momentum with that block. But that's on us. We just got to do a better job of operational time and being able to not let that happen.
Yeah.
Technique. Just bad technique on both of those plays.
Yeah, and we'll talk about momentum a little bit later, but ECSU swung it right back as the Vikings were able to score again on an 18-yard pass from Davenport to wide receiver Ian Edwards to make the score 20-7. Just going back to our show last week, Edwards he's just – I enjoy him. He's a great conversation and seems to be upbeat. Just a good feeling that I get from him, and I think everybody else does too.
Yeah, Ian is a national champion, man. Yeah. He won the national championship when he was at West Florida. He didn't play a lot, but just coming here, man, great kid, and probably he is the fastest guy we have on the team, and he's a playmaker. Yeah. He can just get the ball in his hands, man, and definitely glad to have him, man. Yeah. He's explosive and he could put some pressure on any defense.
Yeah, no question. I'm very impressed with him. 20-7 is the score going into the half. Your feelings personally as you go into the locker room and your message to the team at that point.
Honestly, not to the team, to the coaches. I just felt like we left some points out there because if we recap, we scored because that was a fourth down. I got to go through the moment.
Sure.
We actually got an interception for a touchdown, but we got a time penalty. And we can't, just doing those little things, and that was the message to the coaches. We got to coach up the little things because that could have been costly. We were up 13-7. We get a pick 6, but they call it back. So we get started on the 15, and if you can remember, that was a fourth down call.
Yeah.
At first I was like, should we kick right here? But, Donovan said, hey, Coach, I got you. So we went for it, and ultimately we got it.
Got that score, yeah.
It shouldn't have came down to that. We should have been up. And, and that's what I was telling the coaches and the kids. We can't just, make those type of mistakes. Yeah. Against a good team like John C. Smith, we can't make these mistakes. So that was the message. And told them it's 0-0.
Yeah, that's right. And coming in, and that play, I didn't really bring it up for various reasons, but let's go ahead and delve into it. It's homecoming. You're feeling good. You got you a pick 6. All I see is pay dirt down there. No excuses, but you can understand a talent like him just feeling good and, I'm going into the end zone, but it hurts the team.
And that's the thing, man, and that's what I wanted to explain to him. It's great. I know it's homecoming, man, but it's, you can't let your emotions get the best of you. Yeah. And it's still a game, and you can't hurt the team. You got to be selfless, and, at that point he was. And I had a just talk with him, and he's not a bad kid.
Right.
Like, great kid.
No question.
Great kid, man. But sometimes, you just make a mistake, and it was just me there just telling him, because even the chancellor was on the sideline too, and he had the bell, and she took a picture, and I was like, come here, man. I didn't want to, talk to him in front of the chancellor because it's a war zone down there, but just tell him, man, we can't have those type of mistakes. So
yeah, definitely a learning situation for him. Both teams back and forth in the third quarter. ECSU held on to that 20-7 lead going into the fourth. The targeting call is kind of what everybody noticed, and it hurt the Vikings and it hurt the player too, ECSU's Tracy White. And it was kind of part of that momentum switch that we're kind of talking about that happened, somewhere around that time. Speak specifically on that call and how it impacts the team, not only at that moment, but, leading into Saturday's contest against Virginia Union.
Yeah. I'm biased, man. I see what they're saying. It's tough, man, because Tracy is one of our leaders.
Very much so.
And that point of the game to call that call, I just think it was kind of tough for us. And you're right. It just changed the momentum. It just changed the swing of the game. And not just this game, but ultimately he had to sit the first half of the next game. So you're talking about one of our starters and one of our leaders on defense that – It just hurts, man, and I just hate it for him. Yeah. I just hate it for him, man, because he he does some great things for us, and he's a leader on defense, and it really puts us in a bind.
Yeah, and I'm sure he felt pretty bad once he got back into the field. I wasn't with him, but I'm sure I can imagine his mindset of, oh man, what have I done? At that point.
Here we go again, because I think it was the same thing in the Catawba game.
Yeah, I believe so.
He had got a targeting penalty, so. Here we go again. Yeah. he felt, he's a competitor. He felt bad, but initially, because I was like, well, let's go to instant replay, because I don't know. Like, let's make sure you guys got the call right, and they figured that they did. So, we still put the call in to the ref, to the CIAA ref. So we're still waiting a decision on that. But we always plan to go if he can't go. We got some guys that'll step up and be ready.
The addition of instant replay to every game, I'm sure there's benefits. In this situation, is more of a negative, obviously, but the impact that has on a game. What have you seen so far? With the exception of what we just dealt with on Saturday, but a good positive addition to the football games.
Yeah, we're able to challenge some plays as long as you got a timeout. I think it's big. I mean, once they can get past, this is the first initial season, so of course. It's been a couple of hiccups, but on our end, man, I think it works great. Put it like this. I don't like the call. Yeah. I don't like how they confirmed it, but it worked as it should.
Correct.
It worked as it should. So that's the positive in the instant replay.
Yeah, we talked about the momentum switch. It swung their way, and they would use that momentum to score a couple more touchdowns, holding the Vikings scoreless in the second half, going on to that 20-21 win. I'm not going to delve too much more into what took place, but, Coach, we always talk about how difficult losses have been when we kind of beat ourselves. And we looked at the record. We talked about it. It could be flip-flopped. And we still feel that way, especially after this game. This one's hard to digest, frustrating for the players, the coaches, the alums, everybody. But, you always kind of speak to the players, and you always have a message for them. When you had the team on the sideline and you were talking to them, I noticed that they were just sitting there and everybody was listening to you. Your message to the team immediately following that game.
I initially told them, I said, this one hurts. I didn't tell them this, but I put it up there with some of my top disappointing losses as a coach. It's up there with the North Carolina Central 2006 championship game. It's on that level.
I get it.
Just because of the magnitude of that game, and this one. But I said, look, you still got to push through. We got to stay focused. We got to be able to finish. And I told them, this is what we have to do. You can't rest and say we got this. We got to finish the game. And I said we're gonna come back to work. We start divisional play, so that's a good thing. I said we're done. We start divisional play, still run the table, and we'll see how it goes. But I could tell the guys they felt bad. I felt for them, man. I felt bad. I was like but. We got 5 games where you can't sit and cry about it, man. Yeah. You got to get back up and you got to continue to work. And that's the message that I told the guys on Saturday. And today they were right back, ready to work. Yeah. Ready to work, man. Great attitudes. And that's one thing about the guys. Those guys played their butts off, man, Saturday. Yeah. And that's what was so disappointing, man. They played. They gave me all they got, man. And it's, for me, just making sure, and that's what I told the coaches, making sure we're doing the little things, man, because we got to be able to finally get over this hump. We can't come here every Monday and almost. It's just time to win a big one. Yeah. Time to win a big one, man. So that was just a message. But those guys got it, and they're going to be ready to go for Saturday.
Still on a search to find that complete game. And I tell you what, it looked like we was having a complete game, especially about them first 3 quarters. So the Vikings really played well overall, and we always look at positives that we can take. A lot of positives in that contest. Again, we led the whole way pretty much until the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game. So talk a little bit about the positives that you can take away from the momentum, the feeling that they had in that first half, and what they can take as far as momentum heading into Saturday.
That is the top team in the South in the division. They're 4-1. That is the top team on that side, and we had them on the ropes. Yep. And so that lets you know you can play with these guys. You can beat these guys, not just play with them. You can beat them. Yeah. We just got to find a way to finish. And that's one of the positives that I'll take. We play some good football. We just got to eliminate those mistakes. Like you said, play a complete game. Yeah. But one of the positives, and I was telling them at the team meeting, that was a team, they are number 1 in their division. As of now, they're number 1 in the division. So, look where we are. Look how far we've come during the season. So just proud of how they're fighting. And, just got to keep fighting.
Yep.
You know, we just got to keep fighting, and we'll get over the hump.
Yeah, I think so, and we'll continue to look for that perfect game. Hopefully we can get it this Saturday as the Panthers of Virginia Union make their way to Roebuck Stadium. We'll talk about this Saturday's game and got some good information coming up. This is Viking Coaches Show on 89.9.
Get your tickets for ECSU football games online at ECSUVikings.com.
If you were a WRVS-FM underwriter, your company's information would be heard right here, right now. Don't worry, the next spot can be yours today. Become an underwriter on WRVS 89.9. Promote your company or organization during shows like Morning Edition from NPR, Cafe Mocha Radio, and more. Call 252-335-3517 or reach us online at www.ecsu.edu/WRVS.
From the football field to the radio, this is Viking Coaches Show on WRVS 89.9.
Back to the show. Clay Mercer here with ECSU football head coach Marcus Hilliard. And Coach just got some good information from our SID. Told us that ECSU's defense is 15 in the nation. That's a beautiful thing. And I tell you, that cold blue is something, bro.
Man, they are rocking right now, man. We done moved up 5 spots, man.
Yes.
I am extremely proud of how those guys have come together, man. Yeah. And it's really been a short amount of time, man, because, you know, DC hired, man, he just had got here like in July. It hadn't been a long time, and he's just done a great job of getting those guys together, and those guys play, man, and they understand. They understand, like, you know, they're taking it upon themselves. They took that loss harder than anybody, man, because they just like they shouldn't have scored. So.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Well, we have a little bit of time. I want to show a little bit of love to ECSU 2022 graduate Alexis Elliott for being named a finalist for the prestigious NCAA Woman of the Year Award. Now, Alexis was chosen for her outstanding achievement in academics, athletics, leadership, and community service throughout her career. Of course, Alexis was a part of the 2022 conference championship team, and off the field, she graduated with a degree in biology and maintained an impressive GPA of 3.89. So congratulations to Miss Elliott. I didn't reach 3.89. That's a high number for me.
Alexis, she's way smarter than me.
Yeah, but same here.
I didn't even get a 3.0, so Alexis, congratulations.
Indeed. Congrats to you. But the Mighty Vikings are back on the field. Third game of their three straight games at Roebuck Stadium. They'll be welcoming the Panthers of Virginia Union, who came up with a 47-7 win against St. Aug this past Saturday. And, Coach, we know what Virginia Union brings in and year out. We're getting into divisional play. And this is a tough division, and it all starts really on Saturday. Talk a little bit. Obviously, you have your experience with the Panthers. You know the program inside and out, but you know what to expect here for Virginia Union. But for the listeners who may not, this is one of the top teams, not only in the Northern Division, but obviously in the entire conference and really in the region.
Yeah, it's personal to me.
Yeah.
After being there 4 years and understanding, you know, and those are my brothers over there, all of them. I love them. But on Saturday, it's about business. And they do have a great team. Yeah. You know, they're ranked. They were ranked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of the rankings this week, but they're a national level team at Virginia Union. They do some great things, but we'll be ready to play, man. You know, we owe them from last year. Like I said, they're my brothers, but I can remember even last year they up pretty big, and at halftime, you know, right before the half. You know, they could go in the halftime. I think it was 28-0 at that point, and he calls a timeout. I ain't forget that one, man. That was like kind of like, okay, so you really trying to rub it in. But you know, they're a good team, but we'll be ready, man. I know pretty much what to expect from them.
Yeah.
Just a power run game, from an offensive perspective, and a lot of cover four from a defensive perspective. So it's nothing that we hadn't seen. Yeah. We'll be prepared. We just got to come out and play like we played in the first half of John C. Smith.
Yeah, no question. And there is a run-first offense, obviously. Is there any different types of preparation that you'll do, understanding that, again, you know the program inside and out, you have a good understanding of what they're going to bring? Is there any difference in the preparation for the next few days leading into Saturday?
No, the preparation won't be any different. We have some different wrinkles that we'll show them. But from a preparation standpoint, man, like, again, we had practice today. We kind of walked through some of the things that we're going to see from them, both offensively and defensively. But, yeah, we'll be ready. I mean, they hadn't changed it. They hadn't changed much. They are who they are. I know Coach Parker, he's going to be what he's going to be and do what he's going to do. So, from a preparation standpoint, we'll be ready.
Yeah, when you talk about what ECSU has been able to do, especially in that first half of the game on Saturday, how important is it to get off to a fast start in this one, especially against a good team like Union is? Yeah,
it's uber important, man. And they are probably looking at the game like, yeah, we should beat Elizabeth City. We're going to come in as the underdogs, and that's great. We want them to kind of overlook us and, kind of make it a trap game for them, man. And that's kind of the role that, we'll play this week, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, man. But, we know what to expect from Virginia Union. Like I said, they're a good team, but we have a good team too. I know record-wise, people probably wouldn't think that, but, just as the teams we play.
That's right.
They escape. Yeah. And they know once we get it all together, we can make a run.
Yeah, we talked about it again. You look at the record, it could be flipped. And this would be, if you look at it on paper, it would be kind of very similar records and going into this contest. And for Virginia Union, they're going to expect the best from ECSU. And for us, it's still about finding that perfect game. We already know what it looks like when you get close to perfect. We saw that on Saturday. And it's essentially what the Vikings will need to do against Virginia Union.
Yeah. Look at our last 2 games. We lose by a total of 4 points. I mean, that's tough, man. It is tough, but, we're going to get it together, and we're going to be up for the challenge. I think, our guys will play knowing that this is a ranked team, man, so we can do some damage in just nationally, taking down a national ranked opponent, man. So the guys will be ready to play. They've been close. They've almost there. They just got to keep fighting, and we will.
This could be a statement victory for ECSU if we can get it on Saturday. It will not be a family reunion. I know the connection is there. We got a lot of ECSU people on that side, but it will not be a family reunion when they walk in here on Saturday. Kickoff set for 1 p.m., and it's going to be a special time. We want all of you to come out. And, Coach, I'm not going to say it. I'll let you say it. Go ahead and speak to the Viking faithful. Let them know how important it is for them to be in Roebuck, 3rd game, 3 straight in Roebuck, and we want to finish it off the right way.
Yeah, definitely need you guys there. We love that energy. We came out, had a lot of energy. Definitely want the fans to be there, and I'm telling you, we are there. We need you guys to push us through, to help us to finish, and definitely want to see you guys there this Saturday when we play Virginia Union.
It's going to be outstanding. Tickets are available right now online at ECSUVikings.com. I hope there's some tailgating out there because I indulged in a little bit of the food. I wasn't able to indulge in a lot, but when I saw those fish and everything and I saw everybody eating, I said, man, I got to try this. So the atmosphere is going to be outstanding. If you have not indulged in ECSU Mighty Vikings football, the game day atmosphere, CIAA football, there's nothing like it. Again, you can get your tickets and more information online at ECSUVikings.com. Coach, thank you so much for making this show happen. We're looking forward to Saturday. Good luck to you against the Panthers, and we'll talk to you again on Monday.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no question. If you missed out on any parts of today's show, you want to catch up on past shows, just go to the WRVS-89.9 YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page and listen anytime. For Coach Hilliard, I'm Clay Mercer. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening. We'll see you on Saturday, and we'll catch up with you again on Viking Coaches Show on Monday here on WRVS 89.9.